Explorers, today we're going to talk about a very controversial topic, something that may upset many of you. Kacey, can you please share your thoughts about Sasquatch? Do you believe in the existence of such a creature?
I have no idea.
So you're right in the middle of the fence?
I'm not in the middle of any fence, but I guess technically I am?
Do you have an opinion in either direction?
No.
Okay.
Wait. I used to be like, oh my god, there's no such thing as Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But after dating you, I believe that
it's possible.
I shouldn't discredit it.
Okay.
As willingly as I was before. Also, I did not know what this video was going to be about.
It was a surprise. So, with that...
Oh my gosh, you researched it?
Let's dig in. So, do you know about the Patterson-Gimlin footage?
That's supposed to say Patterson.
You're not supposed to read this.
I don't know anything about it.
You don't? Okay. So, Patterson, not Kyle Patterson. Hey, Kyle, what's up? But Roger Patterson was an amateur filmmaker. I'm going to show you the footage that him and his friend, Gimlin, captured. This is in 1967.
Okay, I feel like I do know this, but go on.
You need to stop reading this.
No, I didn't read it, I promise.
You're getting ahead in my plan to convince you that Bigfoot exists.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a fair warning beforehand, okay?
Okay.
You know how all Bigfoot footage is shaky and like crazy and everywhere? This one has a reason to be. They were out filming a movie. They started recording on horseback, jumped off the horseback, and started running. And then you'll see the footage stabilize. That's because Patterson, the one with the camera, took a knee and aimed it.
Okay.
Okay? So this is the footage.
Are we allowed to show this? Is there no sound? Okay.
It's film.
Okay.
See, so now you can see him running. And now he's stopped, pointed at the creature.
That's the classic Bigfoot.
Yeah, this is where it comes from. This is the first photographic and video evidence of a Sasquatch.
Okay, just saying that honestly looks like a person in a suit.
Okay.
It really does, and I'm not saying that I don't believe it. I'm just saying it really looks like a person in a suit, like an ape suit.
Okay.
Like an over the garden wall.
So now I'm going to give you a bit of background, and then you tell me whether you think that this is real footage or not. This is the most famous Bigfoot footage out there because it has been tried to be proven false so many times. Patterson is actually dead right now, and to his deathbed, he stood by his claim that this was real. And so did his partner, Gimlin.
Okay. Watch, it was Gimlin that was the one in the suit.
So this actually started in 1966, and this is all in the Pacific Northwest. Okay.
Wait, what is that? What does that mean? I'm so
Pacific
sorry.
Ocean.
Yeah.
Northwest, United States.
So like Washington, Oregon?
California, Washington, Oregon, California area. Yeah, so... what they were actually doing out there, because this area was a hotbed for Sasquatch sightings, this was an area where they had seen many of them.
I'm not reading it.
They've been reported to be seen many, many times. So Patterson got a bunch of money together and he decided, hey, I'm going to film a drama movie about a team of Bigfoot researchers that go out and find Bigfoot.
As a joke.
No, not as a joke. He was just trying to make a movie. But it's just kind of ironic that this is what ended up happening. The most famous footage of Bigfoot arose from something that wasn't even part of the movie. Unless, maybe this was the real movie he was trying to make.
Dun dun dun!
So, Patterson actually is the founder of the Northwest Research Foundation, which is...
Patterson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of difficult to find any information about online nowadays. I don't know if it was a big thing back in the 60s, but I couldn't really find any information about it now.
Okay.
Everything I looked up just linked back to the articles that I used, so I couldn't actually find the Northwest Research Foundation, which is weird. So Gimlin was an actor in this film, and he was a volunteer actor, which may be important depending on your viewpoint. He just volunteered to act in the film. So that footage that we just watched was in October of 1967, and they were in Bluff Creek, which was in the Six Rivers National Forest.
Okay.
Okay, so they're pretty deep out there, and that's in Northern California. Okay, and as I said earlier, they were on horseback. And if you look at the promotional footage of the movie that they were filming, a lot of the movie took place on horseback because that was the way to get around in California in the day, I guess.
Back in the day.
Yeah, so it was, their horses were available, the camera equipment was available, and so basically what I'm getting at is they have an excuse to be out here in this hotbed of Bigfoot research with camera recording equipment, and they have an excuse for the footage to be the way that it is.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand. So all that checks out. So no one can really discredit them.
Yeah, that's been checked out by other members of the team because they were actually out just riding horses. They were scouting for new areas to film. And it was late afternoon, almost evening. And I remember this is October, so the days are getting shorter and shorter each day.
Right.
And it's pretty cold at this time, too.
Okay.
Because this is Northern California and not Southern California. And as we know, it never rains in Southern California.
Do we?
Yeah.
Is that a song?
Yeah, it's a song.
Oh, is it that song you always sing?
The one that goes, "It never rains in Southern California"?
No, the cool, clear water.
No, that one's for you, Audrey.
Okay.
So, they came upon a log jam. So there were a bunch of loggers in this national forest for some reason. And what they would use for transportation of the logs instead of horses or the power equipment that didn't exist at the time, what they would do is they would cut down the trees right next to rivers, push the logs into the rivers, and create a log jam.
That's not cool.
Yeah, so the river would do all the work for them.
That's so not cool. Rude.
So they came upon this, and you could actually see that in the footage there. I don't know if you noticed, but see right here?
Yeah.
All this area right along
here. Is that water?
So there's a creek between them, between the Sasquatch and them. That's the jam.
So the footage is really very low quality because that doesn't look like water at all.
Yeah, so another thing about this is that the original footage is actually lost. This is the famous frame 352. That's what this is called because it's about a minute of footage. And so since the original is lost, we've lost the highest quality version, and everything that we have after that is just a copy. So this has been copied nobody knows how many times.
So the quality slowly has gone down.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really annoying.
In addition to that, it's with experimental color film in 1967. Filming something that far away.
Right. I mean, okay. Yeah, I understand.
So they're riding on horseback and they see a figure like 25 feet away.
Okay.
And film cameras were very difficult to start up at this day and age. You know, they took a long time, and Patterson, being an experienced filmmaker, later in an interview said that he got the camera rolling after just 20 seconds. So think about how fast you can walk in 20 seconds.
Right.
Now, multiply your height and your muscle mass and think about how far you can walk in 20 seconds, 25 seconds. You know, it's much faster.
Are you saying that that's why they were on the horses? That's why the What does that mean? Why are you saying
I'm just
that?
saying the creature would have been able to get much further from them. They're saying they were just 25 feet away. That's from here to across the street. You
Right.
know, that's incredibly close. They could have made eye contact with it, you know?
Okay.
So they saw this creature, they whip out the cameras, and they were later describing the creature as almost 7 feet tall. So between Patterson and Gimlin, their claims range to be between 6 feet and a little bit over 7 feet tall. But they both agreed that the creature was very hairy. They agreed on the same color hair, which was dark brown to light brown, and it had huge breasts that were covered in hair and swaying.
So was
as the
it
creature
female
moved.
Bigfoot?
It could be, because if it's a humanoid mammalian being, then it would have those features, you know? I
Right.
mean, all mammals give milk, even coconuts, so why
We're
not
just gonna gloss
Sasquatch?
past that you just called a coconut a mammal.
Has hair, has milk. It's a mammal.
It doesn't give birth. Okay, you're gonna argue because it's the seed itself that it gives birth. Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
We should do a video about that next.
yeah, we will.
Why coconuts are mammals.
So Patterson-Gimlin jump off their horses. Patterson's getting the camera ready. Gimlin whips out his rifle, and they start booking it after this creature.
Wait, so they're on the horses, or they just got off
They
the
got
horse?
off the
Okay,
horses. Gimlin has his rifle. Patterson has the camera.
Camera. Got it.
So these men are sprinting at full speed after this creature that was 25 feet away. After 20 seconds of assumingly fumbling off of their
Right.
horses in a panic because they've just seen Bigfoot. Right? So, again, imagine you're this huge creature. How far can you get in 20 seconds? And you see how
Good amount.
you see how far the footage is away.
Yeah.
And these men did a full sprint after it for what, the first 30 seconds of the footage? And they still weren't caught up with it? That seems like it's beyond human capabilities to me. But
That's true.
but these numbers that we're getting are first-hand accounts by the people that could possibly be putting on a hoax.
That's true. Also, I just want to say, as a side note, I love that you named this Convince.
Well, yeah, I couldn't
I
let
just
you
want everyone
see
to
it
know
in my
that.
files. It had to be hidden.
Right. Convince Kacey that Bigfoot is real. I'd be like,
So by the time the camera's rolling, the two men estimated that it was about 120 feet away, which is a little bit less than half of a football field. Like, we could probably throw a baseball that far. And I would say that from the footage, that seems pretty accurate.
Okay.
Would you say so?
Can we watch it again?
Does that look like it's about 120 feet away from you?
I'm
the
not
cameraman?
very good with things like that.
Well, it's also
but
zoomed in, too. So would you say that's within the realm of possibility?
Yeah, sure.
And you see the water in this frame now, right?
Yeah, it's just not very good. It kind of looks like a dark sand.
Well, it is a jam, so this is a shallower part. Think Beaver Dam. But
I understand,
made.
but it's just doesn't look like it.
So, as you saw in the video, the creature or human in costume, whatever it was, turned and looked right at the camera.
Yep.
You saw that,
And kept going.
That frame is the iconic.
The
Yeah.
yeah.
So.
The one that you love and do all the time.
Mhm. So, at about the length of a football field, they lost sight of the creature and they ran out of film.
That's so
At the same time.
inconvenient.
But if you, at the end of the video, you remember seeing the film reel running out and spinning. You remember that?
No.
Right here?
Oh, I didn't know that's what that was.
Yeah, so it's
I
all...
thought it was like written, like something was written on it.
Well, it is. It's written on the film reel.
There's stuff written on it.
Yeah, so it's the reel and it's just circling because it's out.
Why is there stuff written on it?
So they know what it is without having to watch it.
I understand. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I'm just so tired.
It's
tonight.
like labeling your files.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but-
Okay. I got it.
So at this point, they decided that they would follow it a little bit. So they started following it, and then they realized that it was getting really, really late. And again, this is in October. And so they decided to head back and link up with the rest of the group and make camp for the night.
Okay.
But before they did that, they took plaster casts of prints They crossed the water and they found prints.
What is plaster?
So they make the plaster. It's like liquid, almost cement.
Okay.
Do you know the stuff you repair the walls with?
Oh, yeah.
But instead, it's a plaster cast. So what they'll do is it's a liquid. They pour it into like the footprint, let it dry, and then you have like a 3D sculpture of the footprint.
Okay.
And these were eventually lost.
Okay. See, but that is sounding so convenient for them to have lost it. Also, that looked like an ape, not Bigfoot.
So this is a picture of Patterson's foot compared to
the cast.
The cast. That's their real cast.
That's a real picture?
Yes, this is real.
That's Patterson?
Yeah. That's huge.
They found that?
That's just one of the prints. They took multiple casts. They went over to where the creature ran away from, and they took the casts because, as I was saying earlier, the strides were just so huge, there's no way they would have been able to keep up with this creature. And you can tell that in the video, the creature's kind of spooked. It seems to be just trying to move, get away as quickly as possible. You know?
Sure. You're sure that that's not fake?
Yes.
That it's not like his foot and they like pretended and made it larger?
Look, the toes are totally different.
They're not totally different.
They are.
That is what I was looking at. They're just more extended here because he was walking.
Again, this is 1967. They couldn't have 3D printed a giant foot or something.
I know.
We'll get back to the footprints later, okay? So, they got these plaster footprints, and immediately the next day, Patterson went out and got the footage developed, and he sent it out to scientific agencies everywhere. Okay, including the BBC, which is how it got famous. The BBC said, hey, this is really cool. We want to hire you to make a movie about your experience.
Wow. Wow, so he wanted to make a movie. He went there. He actually saw Bigfoot. He sent it everywhere. And then made a movie.
Yeah.
It's great.
So the BBC makes a movie with him and Gimlin about it. About the whole experience, and they have footage of them with the plaster casts and stuff. But this movie is also lost.
How?
I don't know. It's like how they lost all the Doctor Who episodes.
Ugh. Well, we know how that happened.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure if we dug enough, we would figure out it was some strange warehouse fire or something.
Yeah, it was.
For this as well.
I was about to say, I was like that, but it did.
Yeah.
It's what it was. But they also filmed over some of the Doctor Who films.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, why would they do that?
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
So the footage that you saw was actually part of this movie that they made with the BBC. It wasn't filmed with it. It was taken from Patterson's original footage and put into the new movie that they made. So they didn't recreate it at all. And that's the only part of the movie that survives. And that's why we have access to that video right now, and that the video has been played so many times by so many different people that copyright-wise, it's actually now public domain.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the guess by the men is that the creature right now is a little bit more than 6 feet tall. So you said it looks like somebody in a suit, right? So at the time, Planet of the Apes had just come out. You remember the original Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy special effects. We didn't know this was possible without living in the future, you know? So what Patterson does
They just hired a bunch of Bigfoots to play.
So Patterson sends out his footage to Universal, to Walt Disney World, and to the special effects artist and designer of Planet of the Apes.
Wait a second. So Planet of the Apes came out after this footage.
1968. It came out the year after this incident.
Wow.
But it came out before the Patterson-Gimlin movie came out. So he sent this around to a ton of different...
I'm so sorry I keep yawning.
to a ton of different costume designers.
Okay.
And these costume designers worked with film analysts, and they watched the footage over and over again, and
Excuse you.
I realize it's blurry footage, but if you look closely, you can actually see different muscles moving. Like when the creature swings its arm forward, you can see the biceps sliding upward.
Can we watch it again?
Yeah. Right to the part where you can see.
No, just keep it here.
Do you see how it's not?
I'm a little freaked out.
Because it keeps looking at you?
No, wait, go back. Did it just look?
Now it's looking.
She's like, what the heck are those things?
Yeah, so basically the idea behind this is that when I move, do you see how my sleeve's not moving? But when I have my arm out like this, my bicep moves. And in this video, you can see the bicep moving, right?
I don't have very good eyes. It's hard, but I think I see the shimmer.
Well, it's not just the bicep either. It's all of the leg muscles. Everything's moving. So
Let's watch it again.
See, it's not, their legs aren't acting like pants.
I can see the legs.
They're not acting like pants. They're acting like muscles.
That's true.
That's one of the main arguments. And so these costume designers and analysts came to the conclusion that the only way that this could be somebody, a human in a costume, is if they went through hours and hours of makeup and all of this hair was glued onto their skin. And not only that, it would have had to been a bodybuilder that was at least 7 feet tall and could walk that quickly.
All right, go on.
And there's even more for it. So they actually sent this footage to John Chambers, as I said earlier, who did Planet of the Apes, and he said, I can't even make a suit like that. I would not be able to do that. And he was on the cutting edge of costume design. Something interesting about this is the frame rate. So that's how many frames per second. So at this time, they had generally under 24 frames per second was the rate that they were able to film at. So that means in 1 second of footage, there would be 24 individual pictures that flow together and when played at the right speed, form your movie. So this is kind of an issue in the footage because Patterson actually and conveniently doesn't remember what frame rate he filmed at. So higher frame rate contributes to smoother motion. Right now we're filming at 24 frames per second on the camera right now, so...
On what camera?
On that camera.
Okay. I don't know, I thought you were talking about him.
So, yeah, he said he might have been filming at 24, but he also could have been filming at 16. And the lower the frame rate, the blockier everything's going to look.
Okay.
So that is the issue right now that makes it impossible for film analysts to be able to tell exactly how wide this creature's footsteps are, exactly what speed it's going. Because we have the technology now where if you take a shaky video of a car on a highway passing you, we're able to analyze that and tell what speed it's going. But we can't do that if we
don't know the frame rate.
Yeah, if we don't know the frame rate. If we had a bad frame rate, we'd still be able to make a pretty educated guess. But if we don't know it straight up, that's an issue. So another thing that the analysts did, and this is still being analyzed probably at least once a week somewhere. We're doing it right now, so this is this week's for the world. But they compared it to known primates because gorillas do actually sometimes walk on 2 feet.
Oh, so I was right. That is a gorilla.
Yeah, so on the right here, you can see a gorilla, and on the left, you can see a snapshot from the footage of the Sasquatch walking. And you can tell that the elbow joint is totally different in these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just not even a similar shape.
You can even see its butt.
Yeah, so it's not that they're not both arms, it's just the shape of the arm is completely different. It would be like comparing two totally different things.
I mean, also the gorilla's hands go like this, but...
Just like this.
Well, no, Bigfoot is a regular hand, like The gorilla is
a
like
humanoid
this.
hand. Yeah.
Yeah, the gorilla is
Well,
like this.
that's part of the anatomy. So in addition to that, you can see that the gorilla they have to lean forward because their center of mass is right here. And the Sasquatch, while it's leaning forward
Slightly.
in an upright way.
Yeah.
And with its footstep. The gorilla is not doing that. The gorilla is leaning forward because that's the momentum that's keeping it forward. Though I guess walking is just falling and then continually catching yourself with your feet.
What a weird concept. I don't like that you just said that, and I'm gonna think about that like every time I'm walking.
Yeah. So, they then sent the footprint casts to soil experts in the area, and they went back and they tested the soil to see what kind of soil it was. And this was all pretty near the time, because remember, he published this immediately, so experts were able to flood the area immediately and get accurate representations, not after winter and everything, where everything was different. And they determined, because of the depression caused by the footprint, whatever walked there had to be at least 500 pounds. I mean, you saw that. Those prints were like 3 inches deep.
Okay,
go
on.
So I think a human in a fursuit is completely out of the question unless they had lead in their blood or something. In which case, they'd be dead.
500 pounds.
Yeah, I don't even think that would do it. Their movie later came out, and Patterson kind of withheld some of the money that was supposed to be given to Gimlin.
Why would he do that?
And he was avoiding paying a lot of people that helped with the film. So this is another main reason that people think that this might have been a hoax, is because this kind of makes him look sketchy. But to me, this looks real. This is very compelling evidence of Sasquatch. I think it may very well be. What do you think?
There's a lot of information. I've never thought about it like that. I've never been shown that before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say I'm fully convinced. Don't want to say that. But that's pretty convincing. Like, really. Oh, boy.
Just the fact that it's so isolated and it's been reviewed so many times, and he didn't admit it when he died. You know?
I mean, not really that. More looking at the footage, it's hard to tell. It really, really is. And there's definitely going to be, like, some major skeptics out there that are like, oh, you can't see that, you know? But, no, that is looking at, like, the muscles, that's a good point. You don't really think about that as your first thing. Just like, oh, it just looks like a suit, you know? But, oh, my gosh. That is pretty convincing.
It is pretty convincing.
I feel like I'm almost there with, if not already, convinced that there may still be Bigfoot and the rest of that species out there.
Family. Bigfoot
I
and
know,
family.
Bigfoot and family. That was totally a woman, though. That had
Absolutely.
to have been.
You can see the breasts.
No, that was a woman.
Yeah. So we're going to put all these links in the description for our sources so you guys can check them out for your own and let us know what you think. Do you believe? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to support us on Patreon, and it's because of Patreons like you that we're able to continue to make videos like these. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this.
Yeah.